Hey everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is dedicated to Bleach, chapter 686, the final chapter, titled, where is that guy here? Yeah, Death and Strawberry.
So the titles have come full circle. We are now at the final chapter of Bleach. Okay, let's do this!
Yes, our opening page is with what seems to be a boy with Ichigo's orange hair, but big round eyes, getting yelled at by Hiyori.
And whose eyes do they look like? Oh, it looks like Orihime's. I wonder. Okay. Yep. Let's keep going then. And Hiyori's pissed off because he's, in her house. And which reminds me, at this point, it's probably just her in love now, right?
Probably.
Because everyone else has gone back to this. And by the way, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention this, but isn't love, instead of having Iba be promoted out of nowhere because we knew nothing about him, wouldn't it be easy to have Love come back to be the captain?
Yeah.
He was the captain of that division. And he was, and have Hiyori be the only one left. It's just like, damn it. But she also has a lot of, she has the most contempt for the Gote 13.
Yeah, she has no desire to be back whatsoever.
So anyway, and plus the captain she was with is no longer there.
Yeah.
So she's just like snot-nosed punk runs like the wind.
Yep.
Apparently this kid runs around a lot.
Yep. We get a nice little cover page of the human cast along with Rukia and Renji.
And this is apparently all of them growing up because you see that, longer hair Rukia, Yuzu and Karen look different, particularly Karen who has boobs now.
Yep.
And then there's the friends, there's Tatsuki who has cut her hair, and speaking of cutting hair, Ichigo follows the trend of male protagonists after times gets cutting their hair with Naruto, and it makes them look worse.
Yeah, I think I saw someone else mention that too, not just before.
Actually, I mentioned that in Twitter, but
I think I saw it somewhere else too.
Okay, on Twitter, but it actually doesn't look that bad, but Naruto's looks horrible. Like it was just horrifying. Like it was just like that. You might as well just give yourself a buzz cut, man. That probably was a buzz cut. I will point out that Chad looks kind of weird because he's supposed to have a different appearance in the manga itself, chapter. But maybe he combed his hair up, whatever. But so like may these moments go on forever,
Yep. As the chapter starts up properly, we're back in Soul Society. Yakuya
one thing. The special announcement that everyone was hyping up, it was live action. Okay, whatever.
Live action. Where was that anyway? Was that on the page or?
It was right after the cover page.
Oh.
But that was the announcement. Honestly, I'm just happy it's not a sequel. That's kind of shoehorned into the afterwards. Like, you thought we were done? Not really.
You got more to sever. Anyway, in Soul Society, Byakuya is getting the lowdown on the sensation of Yoak's spiritual power. That's occurring in the final area under reconstruction, and it connects directly to Rukia's barracks, the Squad 13's barracks. Sui-Fēng appears to let him know that Rukia left as soon as the ceremony ended.
But Byakuya doesn't want to bother them, and she's like, so he's like, I'll just handle this myself. And then him and Sui-Fēng meet up with Mayuri, and he's like, I don't recall telling anyone about this. And Sui-Fēng's like, hey, I'm a freaking ninja. Don't underestimate ninjas, basically. I forget that you're a ninja too, Sui-Fēng. Why don't you actually do your job for once? What?
Well, she kind of is.
There you go. Yeah, she did.
But anyway, we're getting
should have done her job more better throughout the manga, though.
Getting Black Ring of Power. It actually looks like the Owen Dawn or something right there. But then we leave that entirely and go back to the human world, where Renji and Rukia are at the Kurosaki Clinic.
So it's apparently a portal. And it's a portal. No, it's not.
No.
It looks like it destroyed, like, because you see dust in the middle. I don't know. I guess that's just cloud and dust. Anyway, so we see Rukia and Renji go to Ichigo's house, and then Ichigo's like, "Hey, yo," and his hair's cut, because I guess.
And then Rukia mocks the fact that the place seems to be empty, but Ichigo points out it's an emergency clinic, so being empty is a good thing. Why, it's so empty, the doctor's not even there.
So then there's all the friends, Satsuki and the other two guys I forgot whose name there was. Mizuru was one of them, and I don't know the other guy.
Me neither.
Was it T or something? Maybe, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I forgot his name. Keigo.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to remember that. So they are just like, they're there. He's trying to flirt with Rukia, which is kind of disgusting because we find out that later about Rukia's relationship status. But
and then we get the biggest the biggest development of plot in the entire series of recent date, Karin.
Yeah, when we say plot, we mean boobs, by the way.
Yes. Why and they've outgrown Rukia.
Yeah, well, I mean, who hasn't?
True.
So they're just like happy about they've seen her, and everyone's like everyone's gathered because they're actually gonna watch Chad be a boxer, basically.
Is that Chad or Shunsui?
He's like a combination of Injo and Shunsui.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even recognize Chad at first, but it's like, at the very least, it seems like Chad finally acknowledged he's not going to be anybody of importance.
Well, here's the irony, and the irony is that the chapter is using Chad as like a template, but other than that, no one. It's about someone else. It's not about him at all.
Yeah.
You think about it, because it's about Ichigo's like whatever when Yua Box supposedly coming back, Ichigo's kid and all the friends they're just using him as like an excuse to get together.
Anyway, we go to Uryu.
I want the one thing is that he looks different from the cover page. Cover page shows that he looks exactly the same. So I don't know if he's just combing his hair up just only for the match, which actually makes no sense because if you're gonna be fighting and boxing and getting hit a lot, wouldn't the hair just naturally fall back down? Whatever. Chad's doing the boxing and everyone's watching, and Uryu actually he couldn't make it. He's actually on top of his hospital, and so instead of going there, he has decided to use his iPhone or Galaxy, one of those two.
It's a smartphone either way.
Whichever Kubo likes better or got paid off by, although we actually don't even know. So
doesn't even matter.
My guess is that he didn't get paid off by anyway, so it's like, oh, fine then, I'll just make it blank. Yeah, this could have been you, Samsung.
Here's like some of the other people in the hospital talking about like surprised that he's taking a break in the first place, which is also like that's strangely nice of him.
Yeah, whatever.
And then we see Orihime coming down, taking off the typical housewife apron.
Okay, this is a confirmation that they're married, because he actually points out, you seen Kazui? He should be upstairs. Or maybe he's, according to Tsubaki and the others, hey, remember them? Yeah. He got back from sleeping around Hiyori's place. So basically, Orihime is Kazui's mom, and Ichigo is Kazui's. They're married, okay? This is obvious. I mean, they don't say it. It's like the most obvious thing ever.
And apparently, he likes to hang out in Yuzu's room, which used to be Ichigo's room. It's like, are you sure you're okay with him roaming around in there? Like, nah, he's fine. He can go as he pleases.
So he gets a free pass like Ichigo, and I see how it is. Is that? She gets embarrassed by that. Is that like?
Yeah, probably.
I'm a little just. I mean.
Yeah.
But she's his aunt. Okay, fine. But or maybe okay. I guess what the aunt thing is like. It's okay. That's actually like innocent. But I think there's actually more of a reference to how she felt about Ichigo, and that's kind of okay. Let's move on.
And then Ichigo realizes, hey, turns to Rukia and Renji. Hey, weren't you supposed to bring your kid along too?
Hey, confirmation. The Rukia and Renji had a kid. Confirmation. Okay.
He's like, huh? Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot all about that. But hey, she's finally an apprentice with the Kotei.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
Have you ever had that term before?
Nope. She's been given special permission to come down during the Bomb Festival. Like, come on in. Like, huh? She's gone.
What the hell? What do you? What's with that Cavalier attitude? Don't worry, she's a Gami. With humans as mere opponents, she's sure to come out on top.
Kind of missing the point there, Rukia.
Yeah, and he's like, so she's a bully? Oh, go find her now. But what's actually interesting is that I like Rukia's attitude. She's like, oh, whatever.
Yep.
Meanwhile, also, when you 13 Apprentice, is that like she's like part of the academy now?
Yeah.
Or she actually?
Or maybe she's getting trained beside someone specifically. I don't know.
I mean, like there was never the word apprentice. Once you got out of the academy, you were actually part of a division. So you're like, and then you were either unseated or not. There's never a word was apprentice. I guess it just means academy. Because especially her age too. She's way too young to be part of the Go-To 13.
I mean, yeah, because she can't be more than 9 years old.
Well, yeah. Then again, Gin was the exception, but Gin was really powerful for his age. Who knows how powerful the kid is? But probably it was probably an academy thing.
Yeah. Speaking of how powerful the kid is, we go up to the upstairs to big black goop coming up right in front of Kazui. And it's also like flaring up in the Soul Society. Then Kazui touches it. Smart boy there, smart boy. And it all disappears.
Hey, at least he didn't eat it.
Yeah. Would you say he rejected it?
I don't know. He could have. Maybe it's like both. Maybe he has Ichigo's Ryatsu but Orihime's power. Who knows? But he also has. We'll find out later. But he's obviously a very powerful kid because he could do this.
He's so powerful. He turned our last penultimate cliffhanger into nothing in no time flat.
I guess that's kind of like that's supposed to be kind of like a joke about it. You know, like, oh, we're so this little kid made everyone this thing made everyone scared, but this little kid just destroyed it in like a second. Just showed you how powerful he is. Everyone in the Society part aside is surprised. And Aizen apparently is still alive.
And apparently back in his hell, back in reunited with Chair Sama.
Well, this was a new chair actually.
Two-timer.
It doesn't even look the same. But so we don't even know what his Bankai is. Okay, F you, Kubo.
Yep. Then we get a we get ourselves a flashback to Yuok's defeat. It's like the path's being closed. Ichigo. The path to a world with no fear. The present world.
Let's say this one straight because what he says is I want to actually pay attention to what he says.
Okay.
And he's basically saying that his goal was to combine all the realities to become one and let life and death fuse together to eliminate fear, basically. You know, the fear of death and all that stuff, which is very hypocritical considering how much fear you. This guy was always talking about despair
and how callously he would kill his own people.
Yeah, I guess his idea was, oh, you know, it doesn't matter if I guess the reason why he killed his own people was because his goal was to combine life and death, so to him it made no difference. That said, what were you doing? You were exalting fear. You said you wanted to eliminate fear. You were giving it out like to everyone, especially like to the around killed, like candy. But anyway, he's blaming Ichigo. You know, this is it will never happen because of you. Now everything's based. The status quo is the same now. You maintain the status quo. Good job, Ichigo. This is going to be the case of all time. Everyone will basically be living in fear of death. Hey, by the way, didn't you say that when you threatened Renji or threatened everyone else, saying like, hey, you know, if you come after me, I'll have you like, you know, I'll come after you at the time when you're most happy, and I'll kill you then, because that's despair. What the hell, man? You were trying to make everyone fear death, but yet you're trying to you're a hypocrite, okay? A freaking hypocrite.
That's hardly a sock.
This is kind of annoying. This is the last chapter. We have him still spout out bullshit.
Speaking about spouting bullshit, we're back to Aizen.
Yeah. And he basically says literally this is a little tiny speech that everyone in like every other manga has ever said. Basically saying that in a world without fear, you can never actually technically attain hope, because life is about persevering through simply by the act of living, and you can't really compare it to the marching forward it is in no way comparable to marching forward in the face of death while doing their damage to keep it at bay. That is why the people have given it that very march a unique and special unique name, and it's called Courage. Oh my gosh, this is so horrifically cliche.
There is one interesting thing worth noting though, is that with that short speech, is one person I saw on a forum posted that apparently Aizen is now what he hates the most, given that description. Yeah. Because he can never do any of that now.
Yeah. He has to just be down there. So apparently Aizen has reformed off screen.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like the only time we've ever seen him was when he was mocking Shunsui, and when he was fighting Yua and talking with Yua. Other than that, we had nothing on Aizen. So all of this development that he's had was off screen.
Yep.
So anyway. Oh, and we actually end on Ichigo. Like this is actually the last panel of Ichigo and Rukia of them arguing. I'll say this: the fact that they come full circle with that is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and then we go into our next off-screen development, which is the children of Rukia and Ichigo.
So Rukia's kid is called Abarai Ichika, which I guess is a reference to Ichigo. Like they
probably named her after him.
Named her after him, yeah. And she can apparently teleport.
Well, no, isn't he just using the portal to come in there? Like Well, Rukia used the butterfly thing, but she was already in the human world at the time, so.
But Ichika's kid had already come. That's why they thought that she was there, but she kind of went off on her own. And then in Ichigo's kid, Kazui apparently destroyed the portal because he destroyed whatever Yuhawk. So I have no idea. Apparently Ichika can do whatever else she wants in terms of teleporting.
Yeah.
So she's like, hey.
There's like 2 pages left anyway.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna milk everything I have. This is the last time we get to talk about Bleach, okay? I'm gonna milk every single freaking page.
Yep.
So sue me, okay? Damn it.
And she introduced herself as Abarai Ichika, Shinigami apprentice. Like, and who are you? I'm Kazui Kurosaki. I'm kind of a Shinigami too.
And he actually, his Shinigami robes have formed on his body, and she's like, what the frick?
And he's even got the Manji blade.
And that's like a reference to Ichigo's Bankai, and then it ends with and so the blade has black title on the bottom, death and strawberry.
Also, Ichigo's sword looks like her hilt looks like a little lightning bolt there.
Yeah, was that a reference to something specific? Because I don't remember what.
Maybe she's just speedy.
I mean, I know Ichigo. Rukia's doesn't actually. It just turns white and has like a little sash at the end, but. And then a Bankai, I forgot. It's probably the same thing. It just changes what she looked like. I have another question. How is Kazumi able to become a Shinigami without leaving his body?
I don't know. Maybe he's even more combo platter than Ichigo is, because now he's actually got regular human mixed in there too.
And Hollow, and Quincy, and Fullbring, and technically, I don't know if Fullbring can go to like a second generation, but I guess Fullbring too. I don't know. And now he has Orihime's ability. So whatever the hell Orihime is, he is too.
Yep.
Okay, this kid is literally everything.
Yep. Yeah, because like I said, because if you don't count Quincy's and normal humans, then he didn't even have that. That was the one that Ichigo didn't have.
Okay, so you know what? I said this before, but you know what's really funny is how like the chapter it used Chad as a template, but it ended up not being about him at all. Like he didn't even say a word.
He gets one panel.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's kind of funny because it's kind of like his entire role in the manga, where he's technically the main character, but he doesn't really act like it.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's supposed to be, he's always there. He's not actually there. I'm assuming the shippers will probably be like, oh look, Ichigo's kid and Rukia's kid will have
There has been some shipping arguments.
Well, this is basically like Naruto's ending, right? Where they're saying, oh, and Boruto will end up with Sarada. This is basically what they're doing. Like, it's kind of like saying, hey, even though Rukia and Ichigo never got together because I know a lot of you wanted, what had the kids get together? Apparently.
Yeah, and that was actually one thing. It's like some of the commentary about the pairings at the end here with Orihime and Ichigo, Renji and Rukia.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty much. Like, it's not so much that they were never set up. It's just that by that point it means nothing.
Well, yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, though.
Nothing was ever really set up, but never developed.
But here's the thing. Well, I mean, Renji did talk about the Rukia thing, and there was something there. Like there was stuff. Like Rukia and Renji they knew each other for so long. They went through a lot of stuff that it showed that there was a relationship, but they never went into romantic land. At least not yet. All those purely romantic stuff was off screen. But the relationship, like the start of it, it was all there. And you remember Renji talked about how Rukia, how they were distant for a long time, and Ichigo, he thanked Ichigo for getting them back together. And we even said like, hey, that's probably like saying that him and Rukia will get together, and this is simply the confirmation. And remember, Kubo even said himself, where he said like, I don't really want to pay attention to romance because that kind of he thinks it's gonna bog down the manga. And actually, I'm okay with that, because it should be like the manga should be more focused on the everything else rather than the romance. Maybe there could have been more romance in there, but I'm not too upset about that. I never shipped anyone in this manga. Although I did say that Rukia and Ichigo were more like siblings. Like most people talk to me like, oh, like Karma was always like, I wanted Ichigo and Rukia. And I'm just like, I just saw them more as siblings, to be honest with you. I never ever saw them as lovers at all, or even close to that.
I mean, like I said, they're just like close friends. Like they don't have to be romantic.
They don't have to be. And the Orihime thing when she said I love you, and it just seems so much like that was good. It's gonna happen. I guess the only well, we don't know what happened to Urahara. We don't know what happened to Nelia. We don't know what happened to Grinjaw. We don't know what happened to Haribel. We don't know what. I'm assuming they just hit back living like Urahara's back in his own town. Nelia and Grimjaw are back in Wakamundo, or Haribel's out. A lot of this stuff that like Haribel specifically, like the fact that she survived against Aizen was something that we didn't know until until a data book came out or something. And
that's probably we're gonna get a lot of here. I think I've seen people mention.
Yeah, like that's just awful. But I guess the question I have in my mind is this: how is the Soul Society still together without the Soul King? Did they find his legs off screen and be like, hey, let's use the legs as like the replacement?
Hook up the spiritual treadmill. Stick him on there.
I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, to this day, we don't know much about the Soul King at all. He has never spoken a single word. Was he even conscious? Like they said he awoke, so I'm assuming that meant he became conscious.
His
but
eyes opened.
Yeah, but what did that mean though? I mean, apparently that was a big thing. Like Your Majesty, you have awoken. What if he was asleep the entire time? It would have made no difference. Damn it! Okay, what else is there? I'm just
All
gonna
the
say that
many loose ends.
all the loose. I mean, some of it. Some of the. Okay, so a few of them, like last month or something, we made a video with like I had like 14 or 15 different plot points. Okay, some of them were answered, but most of them have not been answered. And I
Yep.
don't. And again,
Folking was one. All the Bankais we missed. All the, I mean, Grimjo and
look,
Nell.
I'm okay with a lot of them being like the Bankai. Okay, whatever. Okay, I would have liked to see Ainz's Bankai because he was the main villain. I thought I was. It's sort of like why not? Why did he never use it? What the hell was it? You know? And then because no matter what, when we find out what it is, if ever in a data book, we'll just be like, why didn't he use it? But all that stuff, fine. But the stuff like the soaking is just so damn important. Like, how could you miss that? And also, they showed that he had no legs. I mean, are we never gonna figure out what the legs were? I mean, they show you how powerful the left and right arms were, or the heart was. How powerful were the legs?
I know. I mean, like, get a Ditterbug going, they'd be unstoppable.
Although Kido Kuba's always shown that he's more about cutting off hands than he was about legs. But he did show that the soaking had no legs, so they were out there somewhere.
He's just a torso.
I guess man, this is so much. Oh, okay. This is what I want to talk about. I knew this was coming. I said this last time. I think I know I did, or I'm sure I did. I said that they were probably going to try to make Yuha Box hella sympathetic at the last minute, like they did with Aizen. And it still didn't. Like a lot of Bleach fans are buying into it. They're like, oh, like there's a guy talking like, oh my gosh, you know, like I totally understand you where Yuha Box coming from now. Oh my gosh, I totally I feel very sympathetic to him now. You know, oh my gosh, what great character depth or reveal that we had. Like, he didn't follow through anything with what he just said. He's like I want to do this, but as he didn't actually practice what he believed. Like he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna make you afraid of me, I'm gonna make you know, like remember the Rancars? They were scared to death of him, and like, you know, he even said like, you know, oh, and he made that fear happen, you know, by shooting their legs off and eventually killing them. And then he made all the Vonrei fear him, and then he kept killing. It's just. And also, if you really believe that this was better for everyone, why did you say this before? Why did you say it in the last chapter? Just like dropping exposition. Hey, ever thought that maybe, just maybe, if you said this earlier, people would be like, hey, maybe you're right. Like, okay. Also, I like how another guy's like, this is a good chapter because I know he's not a good chapter. Good. This is a good way. This is a good like last 20 chapters because I've accepted it, or something like. I'm okay with the way it's ended because I have accepted it after hearing about the rush. So wait. Because you accepted it because you lowered your standards. That's what you did. Yeah. Because in order for you to basically not be in denial, you had to lower your standards in order to enjoy this manga. I don't believe that. I don't think that's right. I think people should always. I think every piece of art or work should always be held accountable to a standard. And look, it sucks. It does suck. I feel like shit when mangas this popular get this type of ending, okay? But I think it is a lie. We are lying to ourselves if we try to lower our standards to trick ourselves into enjoying it more than we would have had we kept the standard high in the first place, or at the bar at a reasonable level, okay? Because you know what? This is a guy who made so much money off his manga, who's gotten so much like it's a cultural phenomenon, right? Like I think so, right?
Yeah, pretty big on there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that for someone who did all that, he should be held accountable to a level of standard that he himself set when he first released Bleach, and when he made it become so big in the Soul Society arc. I am a sucker for happy endings. So for that, subjectively, I am okay with this chapter. But only this chapter in like an isolated setting, like I like the kids. I like the fact that the Rukia's daughter and Ichigo's son are gonna be like best friends or whatever. But in terms of the manga and the way it ended, with all these questions looming over my head, that's not good enough. I don't care if you put it in the data book, okay? It's not good enough.
I was like, I mean, there are people that are arguing like why it stopped the way it did. Like some people are calling it executive meddling. Some people are saying Kubo was just bad. I tend to feel like one led to the other.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I was literally about to say. That like,
Yeah.
Kubo had so many chances to to avoid this situation. Like think about it. The executives have been around for ever since they're the ones who gave him the opportunity to become to get popular in the first place, right?
Yep.
Let's say the first 10 chapters are guaranteed, whatever, right? So that means
At least first volume's worth or so.
Okay, so like say 20 chapters, right? So that means 666 chapters. That's kind of a funny number. 660 chapters were they could have ended it during any of that during any at any time during those chapters, like at any time they could have ended on chapter 21. They could have ended on chapter 600. Why did they choose to end it now? They say executive meddling as if the executives have something against Kubo. They're not like the fans. They don't give a shit about how good it is. All they care about is the money they make from it. If Kubo isn't doing the numbers, then they're gonna cancel it. And that's the way all the industries do. They do it. So it doesn't matter if this is Shonen Jump or this is another manga. If he's not doing the numbers, then he's gonna get canceled. Honestly speaking, who cares about how enjoyable the manga is if just making a shitload of money? That's how Kubo has gone this. That's like this entire arc in of itself. To be honest with you,
I think we even discussed that early on. Like he was just like coasting off of the popularity and money he'd made before.
And even if you just argue about the bottom rank arc, you can at least say the fake Karakura-tan arc. It was the sales were going down. They were going down, and yet he still survived. So that means that they actually gave him kind of like a free reign to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, and things pumped up for a little right at the start of this whole mess.
So if anything, they actually were nicer to him than they should have been. If anything, because they let him go on for this long. In reality, it should have ended a little sooner than that. They let him drag it out and all that shit. So you know what? For these people arguing about executive meddling and shit, they had done what any executive would and should have done in their position. When a product isn't doing its job, isn't doing the numbers, then you get rid of it. Yeah. That's how business works, guys. This is something that Bleach has been under for all 686 chapters. And as I said, after the first 20 chapters, assuming that those were guaranteed, and sometimes they're not, they could have ended it at any time during all these years. Anytime they could have done it. Why did they do it now? Answer me that. It's because now they got fed up with the fact that the numbers weren't doing their job. Otherwise, there was no reason to do it. They don't care about whether they themselves like the manga or not, okay? If I was a CEO of a company, I don't give a shit if my best-selling manga is something I hate. If it's giving me... If it's my best-selling manga, I'm keeping it on. Jeez, I mean, just I get it. You're fans. You're trying to... you're trying to take the blame off Kubo. But, I think people are just in denial about that. I think people just won't accept that the responsibility lies with the guy that they love so much, the guy who made this world, the guy who made Bleach. Because you know what? He's an adult. He has responsibilities. He's part of a business, okay? And so when you do that, there's a contract. You say, they let you be part of they let you publish your manga while you have to do certain things that they want, like give them sales figures, sale figures. Make sure that you do certain things that that help promote the company, all that stuff. And if they don't feel like you're doing a good job, then they have every right to say, hey, I think it's time to finish this. Okay? And I know it sucks. Okay?
Yeah.
I even as a guy who's been criticizing Bleach for such a long time, this sucks for me too because I was a huge Bleach fan, and I think that's the reason why I started so much venom for this, because I was such a huge Bleach fan and I felt let down. A lot earlier than a lot of people, I'll tell you that. But I felt let down, and that's why I'm so angry all the time about this. Because it could have been so good. It could have continued on from what I saw it as years ago. And
yeah, I've never had that much strong feeling about it myself, just because, to me, Bleach was always just there.
I actually came into Bleach when right in the middle of the Grimjaw fight. But that's when I started watching the anime. But I knew that the Grimjaw fight was happening concurrently, and I caught up really quickly. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I actually didn't start having issues with it until the lieutenant fight. Then I'm just like, okay, I don't care about the lieutenants. Can we just keep going? And eventually,
you mean like when they were fighting the 4 pillars things, or
yeah, that was just a waste of time because they I think they like cock blocked the visors thing too. And they had that flash. But even then, I was still patient. I was like, okay, I can see why they do this. You want more character development, even though it doesn't really matter. fine. And then at the end of the fake Karakura arc, I was just like, okay, I'm done with this, you know. And then they did the whole Fullbringer arc, and then they announced the Vanderek arc, and it just. And I didn't like the Vanderek arc very much. Like I hated how formulaic it was. I know shonens have formulas. I know Bleach itself has formulas, but it was just. But they always do something that doesn't make it so damn obvious all the time, unless you actually try to look for it. Bleach just made it so like you didn't have to think about it. You just saw it in front of your face. Like he was so he was there was no shame in using the formula so repetitively. And,
I mean, there's a reason I was pretty much positive Yusiro was a dead man when he first showed up.
I mean, at least change something, you know. Naruto does that. One Piece does that. I mean, One Piece, yeah,
Academia.
it does the whole. It does, and like One Piece specifically though, it does the whole going to a new island, changing the citizen opinion of something, and you know, making them happier, just defeating the tyrant. And there's some martyr who got killed. I know if you see that you're like, oh, it's formulaic, but they change it, you know, at least in some way. With Bleach, it's just sort of like it's literally like, I don't believe this because I know from the past this is going to happen, and it does happen, you know. Okay, I mean, so I was gonna do like a retrospective, but honestly, I'm not gonna. I know with a lot of work I'm doing, I don't have the time, and honestly, I don't have the energy to do it too.
Yeah, so it's a good thing Bleach and Mari are kind of wrapping up here now.
I will say this. I was rewatching the first 2 arcs of Bleach.
Yeah.
I still love them. I said, oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
When you say first 2 arcs, how far did you go?
I went to the end of Soul Society.
Okay.
But even after that, it was still okay. Like to me, it actually didn't. I didn't start losing my patience until the fake Karakura arc, but I could see where the quality started going down in the Hueco Mundo arc because it started being a copy of itself. But specifically the you know, like just the normal everyday hollow tax in the first arc, and the mom arc, that was really cool, and then the Soul Society arc, I mean, that was they were really good writing, and it's so awesome, so engaging. I just saw that and I just started getting sad.
Yeah. You know what I think the turning point might have been, now that I kind of think about it? When Isshin killed Grand Fister instead of Ichigo.
Oh yeah, a lot of people had problems with that. I know a lot of people had problems.
I didn't mind it too much because at least it was someone who had a right to the kill.
Yeah, but I feel like Ichigo should have been there at least.
Yeah.
Like a father and son combined attack.
Yeah, and in more than just physical form.
Yeah.
Speaking of, where's Khan?
Who cares?
That's about sums it up, really.
I mean, of all the characters, you ask where's Khan? Of all the characters that we don't know about?
Well, it's either that or ask if Yuzuru is dead or alive.
It's alive, come on.
I want to say he's dead. I want him to be dead.
No, he's alive. They said he was alive when they rescued him. So,
yeah, but we don't. Yeah, but we haven't seen him since they were rescued.
If Yurichi's dead, so is Yoriichi, because they were in the same position.
Yoriichi stuffers. He can be alive.
No, that's not how it works.
The series is over. It doesn't matter how it works anymore.
No, it does matter. The data book will come out soon. Okay, it matters. It matters.
All right, we'll see. We'll settle his fate then, I guess.
Haribel survived. So Haribel survived in the data book, even though she got slashed by Aizen. Okay, I'm sure Yushio could do it. I don't know why everyone's so dead set on the Yushio thing, because the way it's produced, honestly, that you're using references to other like manga of how they did it. Remember that we can't do that.
It's not even manga. It's just basic storytelling.
But this is Kubo. When was the last time he did stuff like that? You know, he's always trying to do something different, and it ends up just being lamer. But at the same time, this is the way Kubo does things. So,
since your earlier comment was that he did nothing differently.
Well, he didn't do different on the formula, but in terms of the story, well, actually, you're right. No. Well, actually, yeah, I'll take that back then. Yeah. So, yeah, right. Never mind. I think what I was thinking of was even though the formula he uses is the same, he doesn't adhere to the basics of just pure storytelling. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that the shonen formula, like the formula is the same.
Yep.
But the kind of like the basics that you need to write a good story, he's not doing that. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So it's a little different. It's sort of like having the shell or having the same skin or shell, but having a different backbone. I think so. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I think I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah. What else was there? So yeah. Well, maybe there's a data book coming up. I don't know.
It probably won't be in the immediate future, but we'll probably see it somewhere around the line there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, well that's it for this.
Yeah, I've got
But
nothing
for
really.
the final time.
Yep.
You know.
For the final time, this has been the typical manga review of Bleach, chapter 686, Death and Strawberry. Give us one final sending off.